Hello there, you beautiful people! My name is Willow, and welcome back to Supreme Commander Force Alliance Forever for a 4v4 Team Matchmaker played on the map Adaptive Point of Reason, which we all know and love as Adaptive Point of Reach. Despite the arbitrary name change for no reason, let's go ahead and get into player introductions, starting with the blue team up in the north and ending with the red team down in the south. Team 1, Team 2, whatever you want to call them. I'll go through a bunch of different names for them, but of course, let's get into player introductions, and we're going to start with this light blue Seraphim because I arbitrarily picked to introduce him first. He's going first land as the worst faction by the name of Supreme AJ. And then down to the south of him, we have his first ally, a Cyan Seraphim. It sounds nice to say, but in reality, it's not nice to look at. It is, of course, Chiza going first land. Then we can move over to the west of him with a dark blue Aeon going first land. His name is deceptive as he's the highest rated player here. It is none other than Overrated Guy. Then down to the south of him, we have ourselves a purple Aeon, 2 Aeon, 2 Seraphim. It balances out. The world is in a good place now, as we of course have a purple Aeon going first land by the name of Caliber. Now, down to the south side of the map, we're going to start over here in the far east with the orange Cybran going first land by the name of Cabs. Then down to the south of him, as I speak in a weird accent for no reason, we have ourselves a maroon Aeon going first land, and his name is It's Not Me. But he has chosen the right faction. As we move over to the west of him with the bright red Cybran going first air with a name that we all know and love. He's been in a lot of casts, and he is a friend of the Duelist, I believe. It is none other than Terminator 619. Then up to the north of him, last but not least, a yellow Aeon, as I completely forgot what words do. Yeah, you all are watching this for a reason. A yellow Aeon going first land by the name of Original Angel. And that is all of our players introduced. Let's look at the map. That was a rough introduction, but it's okay. It's going to get better as we go along here because Adaptive Point of Reason has 1.3 thousand natural reclaim, a lot of water for these players to build boats and ships and throw them at the other guys and hope that the other guys stop breathing. That is what we're looking at today. We have a lot to talk about with this map. So currently in this map and forever forward, I don't know why I said currently, there are 6 major islands. You have this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one. If any team at any point in the game has access of 4 of them, they're winning. But here's the thing, all of these slots do very different things, and it's not quite as defined as other maps. So the players in the slot of Original Angel and Chiza are very likely to go with air, but they also want to build a little bit of navy, and you can see both of them cliff building navy as of this moment. And the player on the other side of the island usually goes pure navy, but can also decide to go air. And my favorite position on this map is down here, held by It's Not Me, and of course Overrated Guy on the other side. And this position kind of goes air, but it's just the position that gets the most mexes. And I like having mexes because being rich is very, very fun. So, of course, these 2 players are the ones to mainly look at, and also in this game, they're the highest rated players, so they're going to be making the most effective moves theoretically. Now then, we have the 2 islands that nobody wants to play. These 2 islands, these are the I'm a punching bag and I'm gonna have a bad day islands. You are in a position where you have a lot of mexes, but they're very spread out, they're very hard to defend, and on top of that, you have 2 people, not just 1, to play against, because generally, the 2 players on these small islands that have 2 players spawning on them just put a lot of pressure onto the other side and really try and focus in keeping the these players down. Now, of course, we have an early bomber coming out from Terminator, and I'm getting a message from Terminator's bomber right here. It's a very interesting one. It's saying, like and subscribe if you want to see more FAF content just like this, and of course, maybe a little bit better whenever I learn how to speak again. And of course, this bomber coming in, gonna drop a bomb, gonna kill off an engineer. How many kills is it already at? Up to 3 already, and it's gonna be going up higher as it's about to get yet another engineer kill. And right now, Caliber is sitting in a very, very sad state of affairs, as I don't know what that noise that just came out of me was, but it was not pleasant. It did not feel good. And of course, this Zeus getting 1 rank of veterancy, 208 mass killed, mostly onto engineers. He's going to be very happy with that result, and that's going to slow down Caliber just that little bit. And we were talking about this position. It's the hardest one. Right now, we have an interesting turn of events. Overrated guy deciding to send the commander out. He's going to grab these mexes on this island, which kind of puts Caliber in even more of an awkward position. He's going to have to fight with less mexes. So if Overrated guy doesn't really get super involved into Navy or just tries to go for air, he could be really hampering his ally Caliber. Is something to keep an eye on, but that's a very divergent play. As we see down here, It's Not Me keeping the comm in the base, using that build power to build up his infrastructure, to build up his base, to get into a relatively strong position. T1 Bomber over here has managed to get up all the way to 6 kills, about to get another rank of veterancy. If it can turn around and kill off that engineer, it is another rank of veterancy, which would be huge. But it's very low on HP, going to use that 1 HP a second to try and regen just a little bit. But there are some interceptors in the air now for Overrated guy, which could put an end to this Zeus's reign of terror. It's kind of, it feels good to say the Zeus is having a reign of terror, because, you know, Zeus was not a nice god. He did a lot of very messed up things. As over here to the east, we have a bunch of bombers coming out. They're going to try and kill off a T1 mechs, and they are going to do it. So the airplay coming out of some of these players going very well. This is in particular Supreme AJ getting a few mechs kills with his T1 bombers. He's going to be happy with that. And yet again, a lot of harassment coming down onto Cabs, onto Caliber. And now Overrated guy slowly expanding, grabbing up most of this island over here. At least half of it from his ally. Gonna have to see how that pans out. It's just a different kind of start to the game than you normally see on Point of Reach. And I'm going to call it Point of Reach because that's what it's called, okay? Okay. And over here to the east, a bit of an air fight. Not going to go too well for Supreme AJ. And in the west, it seems there was an air fight as well. So the northern team having very early air dominance. And we now have some frigates over here fighting it out. The Beacon-class frigates have had a range upgrade. So the Beacon-class frigate's going to do very well against anything other than another Beacon-class. Fortunately, these are 2 beacons, so I can't really comment on that. But over here to the east, Trident getting shot at by a Sau-Issel, the T1 submarine of the Seraphim. And we are in a relatively calm game state. Nothing too crazy is happening. The most interesting play so far has been Overrated guy grabbing this half of the island for some reason. We also have an engineer out over here for Original Angel. Maybe going to try and get some reclaim stolen or something. No, he's just going to try and steal a mechs, which is quite interesting. And up here to the north, we're going to have Naval First Blood. And, oh, it was almost a trade, but one of the frigates got 1 more extra shot in. And that's going to be a win over there for Caliber. As over here to the east, we have 2 subs versus 1. Usually only goes one way whenever that happens. So these 2 submarines out from Chiza and AJ, respectively. Going to be able to kill off this enemy submarine, but no, the enemy submarine gets to scoot away because Chiza abandoned his underwater ally there. And now all 5 mexes over here for Overrated guy. Gonna have those mexes for a little bit longer. Up to T2 air he is. And here soon we'll be able to throw up a T2 Pigeon once he just realizes he already has the T2 engineers out. And over here to the east, a bit of an air fight going on, but there's a bunch of AA spammed up by Chiza, so this is going to go very well for him. And they already had air control, so that's going to be very nice. And mechs is being upgraded for a lot of players across the board. Over to the west, submarine on a very ambitious plan to kill off all of the beacons, but unfortunately going to run into a torpedo launcher that's going to say, get off my lawn, and unfortunately the submarine is going to get off his lawn, or at least be buried underneath it. And over here to the northeast, we do have a bunch of frigates. Seems as though Cabs really wants to get a naval lock onto Supreme AJ. Not sure if that's really going to work. I think Supreme AJ is going to have naval production no matter what. Has a bunch of engineers over here. If he assists onto this and just builds some submarines or just builds a few more frigates, he'll be pretty good to go. All of these mexes were handed over to Caliber. Oh, overrated guy was just being a good guy. He's helping out his teammate and holding on to those mexes, which is a lot harder than you would think to do. On the other side, Cabs, though, has managed to grab those mexes without too much issue. In fact, Cabs playing a very strong game so far. Not really struggling under the pressure. A mex over here was stolen away for original Angel, and that means that this mech's going to have to be killed off by some of these Aurora. Being an Aeon does have its benefits there. Of course, having the Aurora at T1 means you can deal with annoying things like that. Torpedo bombers now coming out from Terminator, going to help kill off some of these frigates out from Caliber. But interceptors out from Overrated Guy, going to show up to help out there. T2 Pigeons going online for Overrated Guy. What about the other side of the map? T2 Air has been achieved, and T3 Air is on the way 40% already for It's Not Me. So it does seem as though he's going to hit T3 Air a little bit faster than the opposition. But It's Not Me, I don't think, is on the same economy as Overrated Guy, sitting on 93 mass a second versus 74. So Overrated Guy, using that little bit of time he had with those extra mexes to just maybe get a few more T2 mexes out, is really going to pay off for him. And now building up his power generation is Overrated Guy. And overall, let's go ahead and take a look at the economies. 97, 96 mass for Overrated Guy. It's Not Me at 75, 50 or around about for both Caliber and Terminator, 40 or around about for Chizza and Cabs. And Original Angel and Supreme AJ both relatively low at around the high 30, mid to high 30 range. And that's how the economies are shaking up. Team 2 overall just ahead by a little bit. And I believe they're ahead on Reclaim as well, so that might be what's accounting for most of this difference. And Team 2 right now, very happy with their position, I would imagine. They have a lot of players in a strong position right now. They're doing pretty well in Navy overall. And Team 1 not going to be upset with their position either. I'm a little bit worried that they're going to get T3 Air quite a bit later. T3 Air is already finished up, halfway done with the T3 PGen right now for It's Not Me, so it's going to be significant. Might be enough time for him to get out a bomber before Overrated Guy can manage his first couple of ASF. And T3 Engineer is about to start coming off the line, needs to get up that T3 Pigeon very quickly, but his T3 Engineer is finishing up after the T3 Pigeon is done for It's Not Me. Is he going to go for the early bomber is the question, and that doesn't seem to be the case. Seems as though he's going for capping mexes. And instead just going to build some ASF, going to play it defensively. Over here to the northeast, we still have a bit of naval fights going on. T2 Navy about to be finishing up for Supreme AJ, but he just doesn't have the economy to really afford T2 Navy. And it's really going to come to bite him here in the short term, because sure, you might have the first destroyer, but it won't mean much. A drop up here to the north out from Cabs is going to be very, very important, as it's going to shut down the 3 mechs expansion over here for AJ, which is going to just make that T2 investment all that more difficult to maintain. And Supreme AJ going to have struggles with getting his economy online. As over here to the west, we do have a T2 transport laden with engineers for Overrated Guy, assuming that's going to be for a bunch of reclaim duties, just keeping it on standby until there's a reclaim field worth going to. Might even want to send it over here if his ally can manage to get enough naval control. These Zooies out from Supreme AJ gonna be trying to make their way in, but there's 4 interceptors on the way, and that transport is dead. T2 transport is still just sitting there, interestingly enough. And over here in the middle, Chizza coming out with a commander drop that I just didn't notice, and he also has a bunch of Zooies on that second transport there. Chizza, is he already up to T3 engineering? He is. So this is a comm drop that's going to go very well. He just needs to start building PD, and as long as he can outbuild the PD production of Original Angel, this should just be a win. His first PD going up about the same time as Original Angel's. If he can get these Zooies dropped as well, he can just kill off the PD that they're building as they build, and that'll be very good. Up to 5 PD already in a very good position. The Zooies coming out. These PD are going up very, very quickly, and now Chizza is just in a really, really strong position. And oh my lord, this has just turned the game up on its head. Original Angel, for all intents and purposes, is now just knocked out of the game entirely. And now with a shield generator coming online, Chizza's going to be relatively safe from the air. That shield generator going to stop him from taking too much damage from things like this Strat Bomber, but needs to get it finished up very quickly, then needs to get up more PD to keep up the pressure. But now Original Angel's economy has been gutted, now the lowest economy player in the game. And with the Strat Bomber coming out, a flak on the way, will need to build a SAM if he wants to be truly safe here. But Overrated Guy now has some ASF. I don't know if he has enough to really contest this, but if he can just get in here and stop air from being a problem for Chizza, this could be a huge play. And now with T1 PD being produced yet again to kill off more economy, Original Angel is for all intents and purposes, been taken out of the game as Torpedo Bombers up here in the north chart to kill off a lot of the Navy now for AJ, and he's going to be in a rough position. And now we see Original Angel. He's kind of stuck right here. He can't get out. There's nothing he's going to be able to do, and with T2 PD coming online here soon, he's just going to be a statistic. I don't think he's going to be able to run away from the T2 PD, so he needs a transport from an ally, or he's just dead. And now we have to worry about Terminator. Terminator has to come up with a solution for this. He doesn't have T2 on the comm. I don't know why he's sending the comm up. Doesn't seem like the best play here. He's going to start trying to build a bunch of whalers to help deal with this. Strat Bomber out on the map trying to get damage done. It does manage to pick off enough to get 1 rank of veterancy, 4,000 mass killed, which means it killed more mass than it dropped on the enemy. Killing off what seems to be mostly mexes. But overall, another Strat Bomber out over here to the east. Chizza still continuing to fire base up. This one going to come in, going to try and shut down the economy of Chizza, which is huge. If he can manage to get Chizza's economy shut down, this drop has no teeth anymore. These PD, unfortunately, the Seraphim PD having disagreements with the terrain. But now T2 Air has been built, and he's going to start building torpedo bombers. Oh, Chizza is just playing like a madman here. And that is quite the play. Oh, that's beautiful to see. This Strat Bomber has come in here. It's killed off all of the mexes of Supreme AJ now. And even going to kill off the Reclaim. Up to 4,000 mass killed. And right now it's looking really bad for AJ. Chizza, though, is trying to make something happen. Overrated Guy probably going to lose some mexes here. And in fact, does. That was unfortunate, almost up to T3. The Navy is going appallingly for the northern side, but Chizza, he's giving them hope. Now Caliber under threat of just dying. Original Angel now going to be walked down by T1 PD, and it seems as though Caliber decides to control K there. He was at relatively high HP when we looked away. And now his base going over to Chizza. Give him more economy to keep this drop going. The commander of Original Angel goes down. T2 now on the way for Terminator. But the question is, even if he kills off Terminator, even if he completely knocks out this island, how do they manage with such a naval discrepancy? Overrated Guy sitting on a very strong economy. Chizza also has a strong economy, could maybe make something happen here along the lines of getting back into the Navy, especially if you start building up your Navy right here, or just get enough torpedo bombers to negate the Navy. You still can at this point, but air is going to become a huge problem with 2 players on the southern team spamming up air. And now Chizza going to start making his way south. Gotta give some props to Cabs. Cabs really trying to hit Chizza's economy. He's doing pretty well here with the destroyers. And Chizza down to 138 mass a second, so he's not really hurting. I'd love to see him start pushing further south. I don't understand the entire sitting up here at this base area. Is getting up T2 engineers can start building this base. Well, if they're going to kill my base at home, I may as well build my base over here. Oh, I love that. It's very funny to me. And Chizza, he's listen, if you like this play, then you should like the video. And if you're not subscribed, consider subscribing today. It's very, very good for your health. It'll increase your lifespan by like 30 seconds. And over here to the north, torpedo bombers killing off frigates. Not a shift G, so didn't manage to kill off all the frigates with one pass, but that's a lot of torpedo bombers now. Does he have the ASF to really cover this? 9 versus It's Not Me sitting on 20. That's not looking too good. And now mass extractors going down for overrated guy. Terminator dies to, I would only guess, tactical missile launchers. Yeah, it had to be tactical missile launchers. And Terminator goes down. And Chizza, I think he just needs to really quickly throw speed and range on the comm. He can afford it. He can get it very quickly. And he needs to just be able to push down here. He's going to try and throw up a bunch of T1 PD, but they're going to have a struggle against the Fervor spams. Fervor's very, very good at killing off structures. And Chizza now under threat of just dying to a bunch of whalers, and if that happens, that could be brutal. But he's managed to get 2 kills himself for all of his struggles. He's starting to fall back, but that's a lot of HP going on off of his comm. He's on a slim fast diet, and he's gonna go down! Chizza dies to the whalers, and now it's overrated guy and Supreme AJ. And Supreme AJ, honestly, not really a factor in this game against the world. And unfortunately for him, his team is just down by over 100 mass a second. And doesn't have any kind of map control. And I think that might be it. He does still have a chance, has a lot of torpedo bombers, does have T3 air. If he can get air control, he can make something happen. Is sitting on 327 mass a second, so that's a lot of mass to spend on pretty much anything he cares about. And the air grid's going up for both sides, but I would say overrated guy is getting a lot more for his air grid right now. He's getting a lot more factories at least, and he's going to go try and get into the Navy. I feel like this is a bit of a late call on this, though. Should have gone for this a little bit earlier. And over here on this base, this will slowly get killed off, I believe. There's not enough T2 PD to just stop all of these fervors from making progress. Especially with Exodus class helping. So this will get cleaned up by It's Not Me, and he will be able to rebuild. If enough Navy is built up by overrated guy in time, that could be big. The base handed over to Supreme AJ, but all that's really over here is mass storage. Poor Supreme AJ, he's just been bullied all game. Cab's doing a very good job in the Navy. And It's Not Me just focusing everything on keeping the air advantage, and if he can manage that, that will be huge. Overrated guy trying to throw up as many factories as possible, trying to get production, but I feel like he's already... No, he's unable to spin mass, really. Speed and range done for Supreme AJ, which just means he can try and slow down this expansion of Cabs, who is just really island hopping in this game. And ASF dying to destroyers and cruisers. Well, dying to cruisers makes sense, but not in this this scenario is not good. And that's a lot of naval factories. Needs to get T2 out quickly, needs to get out more production. And this 2v1 is slowly looking like maybe Overrated Guy can get back into it, but needs to be a little bit worried. I mean, he'll get up the T2 production, but needs to be worried about these Tridents. If they come in and kill off the engineers, this has no bite left. He's going to try and get up a Vesper really quickly, and that will build substantially quickly. Overrated Guy gonna still struggle to spin mass, and Supreme AJ also gonna do the same. A lot of mass gonna be wasted over here. And he's trying to get RAS SCUs. I mean, he's trying to build more eco, but the issue is building more eco is gonna be difficult whenever he runs out of mexes to upgrade, and he needs more than eco to win a game. And a lot of these engineers going to go down. Would love to see just like a wave of T3 engineers sent out to try and get some more Navy. He needs naval control. Tactical missile now on the way for Supreme AJ. And I'm guessing the overflow is helping him with that a lot. And maybe he can send the comm out and try and get some damage down onto Cab's economy. And now we see Overrated Guy still sitting on 300 plus mass a second, but it's nowhere near the economy of It's Not Me, who's at 350. And it's just looking desperate for the blue Aeon, and it's kind of all eyes on him right now. He has to make something happen. Otherwise, nothing's going to happen for his team. Other than a quick death. And T2 transport finished up for Supreme AJ. He has tactical missile launcher, he has gun, he has T2. He's going to try and go for some form of a comm drop. Needs to be careful not to get caught out by one of these passing cruisers, though. And the ASF fight here almost assuredly going to go bad for Overrated Guy. He doesn't have SAMs or anything to protect himself. And now with the Navy coming in, they're trying to focus down the air grid. Needs the torpedo bombers to kill this off and needs to get up his naval production. If he can just hold out for a little bit longer, maybe he can make something happen. And in comes the comm of Supreme AJ. He wants to make something happen. He wants to repeat what Chiza did. I think he needs to drop soon. He's very soon going to be caught out. And if he is caught out, that's just a dead transport. Why is he trying to go for the main base? No! Oof. The ASF don't shoot it. Do they not notice it? They should notice it soon. That comm's going to try and walk in. He does have a tactical missile launcher, so he can launch a missile. And what's he going to go for? His T2 PD going to start being built. If he can walk on land and just kill off that pigeon, it could be huge. Instead, he's going to wait for another missile to load. And he does load it. But does that TMD finish in time is the question, and if it doesn't, it's going to die. And all of the engineers building TMD do go down. But over here in the north, the air grid, it lost one of its pigeons, but he's still trying to hold out, is Overrated Guy, and he's managing to gain some territory. And Supreme AJ and Overrated Guy may have started to bring this back. Another pigeon goes down. The entire air grid, in fact, going down. And if this continues, if this push gets any further, I mean, it's not going to really do very well against all these Oblivions, but you can continue to throw out tactical missile launches, maybe get rid of the HQ, which would be huge. Kills off yet another pigeon, yet another production facility there. That's been huge. Now just needs to start walking away and start getting some of the economy of the northern side. Just start launching these missiles over here. You're gonna die. So you just need to start launching missiles wherever they're gonna get the most damage for you. You've killed off 4 of these air production facilities, of these air factories. That's going to be huge. The airdrops out from Team 1, the commander drops have been doing very well. And now, is that going to get a kill? Oh, it gets deflected by a TMD. Once your first one gets deflected, you just need to start throwing all of your missiles up here. Start getting economy damage down. Oh man, my voice is getting a little bit weird there. And now Supreme AJ, he's going to start going for T3 mexes. He may be able to get one, but he's going to die very soon. And that's Supreme AJ going down. Has he bought enough air dominance for his teammate. Overrated guy is the question. Has he managed to get enough breathing room and enough production advantage for his teammate to just take over? His teammate is now solid in the Navy, getting out a lot of naval units. I'd love to see just a real hard focus on getting air units out. So that way, getting out ASF, so that way you can wipe air and then go for aggressive air plays. Because Team 1, despite everything, has really brought this back quite a little bit. And Cabs, that has to be reclaim related, right? 481. Where is all of his mass coming from? Doesn't have any T3 mexes, does he? Where are your mexes? You have T2 and T1 mexes. I don't know how he's sitting on... Okay, that was reclaim related for sure. That was very strange. 500 mass a second for It's Not Me is pretty huge. Overrated guy now at 400 mass a second, so he's not doing too poorly, but he is very behind. Still, what he has right now is the production. It's Not Me gonna struggle to spin mass without that air production that he had earlier, and he's trying to rebuild it, and he's gonna rebuild it relatively quickly. Strap bomber out from Cabs is starting to get a little bit of damage done over here, but it's gonna be shot down by the ASF. This can be rebuilt relatively quickly. Over in the center, some torpedo bombers out from Cabs gonna try and help win the naval fight, and honestly, this is just already a winning naval fight for them. Did I just see an experimental finish up somewhere? If I did, where was it? And what is it? Kind of hard to tell sometimes. It was a GC out from Overrated guy. If he can just hold out long enough, he could get the GC onto one of these islands. And It's Not Me. I don't know if they know about the GC. If they do, they didn't ping it. And now with Salem on Salem action, things are continuing to heat up, but there's just... It doesn't seem like the Southern team is making any progress over here. If the GC can manage to get to this base in particular and just start killing off mexes, that will be huge, but that's a very slow play. I don't know where he's going. For some reason, he wants to send the GC over to this area. Don't know why. I mean, I could see sending it right here. Something to keep an eye on, of course. But air supremacy is still kind of in the hands of the Southern team, and that air grid is getting rebuilt very quickly. And now we wait to see exactly what's going to go ahead and happen. We're going to speed up a little bit as this game has been pretty action-packed, but it's slowed down a little bit. A few gunships out for Overrated guy getting shot down by a detachment of ASF from It's Not Me. Torpedo bombers trying to be used en masse by Overrated guy. Not quite going to be able to get much done as of the moment. That's a lot of naval factories, all of which building Beacon-class frigates, and that might be the straw to break the camel's back. This GC has been waffling about. Needs to just send it somewhere, anywhere. Now going for an emissary. Seems as though Overrated guy doesn't know how he wants to win this game. We build T3 already now, says Terminator. Don't know if the T3 already is really the call. Czar now queued up for It's Not Me. It's a pretty good play considering how air has gone for him recently. Bit of a naval fight going on. We're going to go ahead and go back to normal speed. Galaxy-class battleship out from Cabs, and there's just no answer to that. And now there's a ton of frigates. I honestly don't see how Overrated guy just survives the Navy at this point. Much less the air differential and the potential of a Czar coming to his base very soon. And this is just looking a little bit desperate for the Northern team, and it has looked that way for quite a while. The comm drops were balls out, balls to the wall, just I'm gonna throw everything into the commanders and try and get some damage done. And they were flashy and they were cool, but in the end, it's just not the same as having a bunch of boats or having a bunch of air units to fight with. The emissary is building up very quickly. Maybe if it comes online, maybe if it gets enough economic damage done, it could be significant, but I don't know how that's really gonna happen here. As Cabs, does he have telemason? No, he doesn't. Does It's Not Me have tele? No, he doesn't either. And now we kind of are just waiting for the base to fall. It seems as though it's an inevitability at this point, with the Navy getting within range and just starting to deal all of this overwhelming damage. It's looking very, very bad for Overrated Guy. He's managed to clean up a lot of the frigates, but the second he cleans them up, there's so many more up here to the north. Or these are all just building Exodus. Overrated Guy's spending his mass. Now he's going into a power stall because he's lost most of his air grid, and oh no! It's a disaster. I think that's it. Losing those power generators. He can't afford to keep the lights on, which in this case are shields. And he just can't really afford to fight the Navy anymore. He had a lot of mass, but It's Not Me has just gone for insane amounts of mass. I think that might be reclaim related. No, it's not. He's just got so many T3 mexes. And It's Not Me, with overwhelming economic advantage, has just kind of won the game for his team here. Along with Cabs being very aggressive in the water. And getting a lot done there. I'd like to thank you all for watching. You've been beautiful. And say thank you to the channel members and the Patreons who support me. If you become a channel member at the mini dualities tier or higher, you can get access to every video early. And that really helps out the channel. And of course, the Patreons get their names at the end of every video. And with a Control K, Overrated Guy ends the game. You all are beautiful. Thank you to all those who support me. Consider liking and subscribing. I'll see you in the next video. This is Willow, signing off.
But if I lay down and I play dead and I stay dead